In this video I'm going to talk about 5 key players from each team that I think could make the difference in the game tomorrow between South Africa and New Zealand being played at Cape Town. It's round 4 of the 2024 Rugby Championship. G'day everyone, welcome to Inside Rugby with Mark. If you haven't been here before, my name is Mark. I'm a retired Kiwi bloke who loves the sport of rugby, and I'm living here in beautiful Cancun in Mexico. Now in today's video I thought I'd get in talking about a few players that I think are going to make the difference tomorrow in the game between South Africa and New Zealand. I selected 5 players from each team and looking at how I think those players could have the biggest impact on the game tomorrow. And first of all, starting off with one player from the All Blacks, and for me it's Will Jordan. He's going back to fullback, and Razor Robertson has decided to put Jordan in this position because he's put Beauden Barrett on the bench to start this particular game, and I think this is going to be one of the crucial positions we're going to have to watch out for tomorrow. Jordan under the high ball, how's that going to go? Jordan counter-attacking, how's that going to go? And how's his general ball handling skills going to be if South Africa start giving him a lot of balls to play with? That's going to be really interesting. So I think Will Jordan is going to be one of the players that we need to watch tomorrow. Then moving over to the South African side, and one of the players that I think might have a big impact on this game is Grant Williams. Yes, the halfback coming in for Cobus Reinhardt. And Rassie's decided to go with Grant Williams because he's got that pace. He can be a real danger around the base of the breakdowns, and it's going to be really interesting for me to see whether or not Grant Williams can have that kind of impact that I believe that he can, and I think he could be one of the differentiators in the game tomorrow. So watch out for Grant Williams. And then moving back to the All Black side again, and the second player that I think that'll have a huge impact on this game tomorrow will be Damian McKenzie. Many of you know my views about McKenzie, and many of you think I'm wrong. Well, let's see what happens tomorrow. Of course, this time McKenzie doesn't have Beauden Barrett starting the game with him, so he's got no decoy, he's got no backstop. All the pressure is going to be on Damian McKenzie, and it's going to be really interesting to see how he manages this changed All Black lineup in the opening stages of the game, and until whether or not Razor decides to make any changes during the game. So I think Damian McKenzie's in for a lot of testing tomorrow. I think the South Africans are going to target him, put as much pressure on him as they can, and we'll see whether or not Damian McKenzie can handle it. So I think it's going to be one of the key players tomorrow to watch in this game. Then moving back to South Africa, for me the next player that I think is going to have a key impact on this game for the time that he's on the field, and that's going to be Handré Pollard. Mr. Consistency coming back into the South African team, and of course Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu has been the preferred pick until this game for Rassie, so it's going to be interesting to see what Pollard does, and I think his kicking strategy is going to have a big impact on this game and whether or not he can execute that very well. We know how good he is off the tee, and I expect him to be just as good as any of the New Zealander kickers when it comes to taking penalties and conversions. So we'll have to see how Handré Pollard does around in general play, and in particular his kicking. So I think he's going to be one of the key players to watch out for in the game tomorrow. Okay, jumping back to the All Blacks side now, and the third player that I think we need to keep our eye on from the All Blacks is going to be Wallace Sititi. He's getting a start in this game in number 6, and I think it's a really good move from Razor. I want to see how Sititi goes under the pressure of the mighty Springboks forwards, and this is going to be a telling opportunity for Sititi. Is he going to be up to it, and can he bring his A game to this particular game? So watch out for how he plays tomorrow. I think he's going to be a key player in the action, and of course we do have the All Blacks have an option off the bench if things aren't going well with Sititi, but I think he's a player that can have a big impact on the game tomorrow. Now back to the South African side, and it's a forward on their side that I think is going to have a big impact on the game, and it's Pieter-Steph du Toit. Many of you will know how much of a fan I am of Pieter-Steph du Toit. He's got to be one of, if not the best player going around in world rugby at the moment. It doesn't matter whether he's playing lock or flanker or anywhere else for that matter. He's an absolute beast of a guy. He could score a try tomorrow, he could have a big impact in the lineouts, and of course he's going to have a huge impact in the breakdowns and around the general play. So Pieter-Steph du Toit for me is one of those players that's a game changer. he could do something throughout this game that has a significant impact on its outcome. So he's listed down as one of my 5 South African players to keep an eye on tomorrow in this game in Cape Town. Fourth player on my list for the All Blacks that I think is going to be a key player in the game tomorrow is Cortez Ratama, the new halfback start for the All Blacks in this game. Razor had just decided to give Ratama a go. I think this is a really good move. I know a lot of you don't agree, and I think that you're saying that he's too inexperienced to go up and starting against the Springboks, but I think this is exactly what Razor has to do. He has to give Ratama a chance against the best team in the world with all this pressure on this game, and just see how he performs. It's a litmus test for Ratama, and I think that's what some of these All Black key positions need to go through. And we've got to take away this fear of spoiling players' careers because they're too inexperienced. And I think that comes down to many people just wanting to make sure the All Blacks win every game. As you know by now, if you don't know by now, I'm not one of those people in that camp. I want to see Razor experiment with these young players, give them an opportunity up against the best, and help them learn by going through that process. And I think Ratama is going to do very, very well. Of course, TJ Perenara is on the bench for the All Blacks tomorrow. That's my preferred position for him. Coming off the bench with his experience could be a good thing for the All Blacks in the second half. But let's see how Ratama goes. I think his performance tomorrow will be one of the key performances in the game for the All Blacks. Okay, next one up for me is a South African, and it's a bench player, and it's Sasha Feinberg Ngomazulu. He's going to come off the bench tomorrow, and Sasha's been playing absolutely brilliant rugby so far for South Africa, and sticking with Razor's rotation process to give some of these players a bit of a break. I think that's what he's doing, but he's also wanting to win this game, and he's wanting to have Andre Pollard on there to settle the game, keep it balanced to start off with. And then if things do go the way of South Africa, then I'm sure we're going to see Sasha Feinberg Ngomazulu come on and do his magic tricks. And when I say magic tricks, I think he's got a lot of skill sets around about setting up his outside backs. He's great at kicking as well, and he also can run the ball very well from the base of the breakdowns. And when he gets fast ball on this occasion, it's going to come from Grant Williams. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Ngomazulu goes, what impact he has on the game. But I think he's one of the key South African members of the team tomorrow. Coming off the bench, I think he can make a significant contribution to the game, whether South Africa is behind when he comes on or whether they're in the lead. I think he's a great player to have coming off the bench in this situation. So watch out for Sasha Feinberg Ngomazulu. The last player I think that's going to be a key player for the All Blacks tomorrow that's on my list is going to be Beauden Barrett coming off the bench. We saw what an impact he had against England. He won that game for us against England. And I just think his position for the All Blacks right now is coming off the bench. I think he's such a good impact player, and it's due to the process that he's able to read the play so well, understand where the game's going, and bring on all those 120 plus caps of experience to give this All Black team a real boost towards the end of the game. So I think this is a really good move by Razor by having Beauden coming off the bench. I think it's going to be a significant move. Whether the All Blacks are behind or in the lead, he's going to help on both fronts. If the All Blacks are behind, he's got the ability to be able to break the South Africans open, either score a try himself or set up a try for one of his colleagues. And if New Zealand is trying to hold on to the game, again, he's got that mature mind, he's got all those years of experience in that position that he can help New Zealand settle it down. He didn't do so well last week. I thought he had a couple of hiccups in that game, but hopefully coming off the bench this weekend, he's going to be a different player, and also he's going to help New Zealand settle the game in the last 20 minutes. So there you go. I think Beauden Barrett is going to be a real big key player in this game tomorrow. Now the last player on my list that I think is going to be a key player for South Africa tomorrow is Kwagga Smith. Yes, good old Kwagga can come off that bench and make a big impact. We saw it last weekend in Johannesburg. He came off the bench, scored a great try, but not only that, he was very instrumental in making sure that South Africa was getting on the front foot in that last 20 minutes of the game. He's such a big impact player. He can play across different positions as well. I really am a big fan of Kwagga Smith, and I think he's another player we need to keep our eye on in the game tomorrow for South Africa. I'm sure that he can have a really, really big impact on the game. So there you go. There's 5 players from each team that I think are going to be key in this game tomorrow in Cape Town. I know I could have listed a lot more, and I'm sure you'll put a few more in the comments as well. Just a couple of players that I think will be really missed from this game tomorrow. I think for the All Blacks, Caleb Clark and Ethan Blackadder are going to be really missed in this game tomorrow. I thought Blackadder was probably the standout player for the All Blacks in Johannesburg, and I thought Caleb Clark is playing really, really well at the moment. He was very good under the high ball in Ellis Park, and he also scored those 2 tries for the All Blacks. And on the South African side, I think Kurt Arendse will be missed enormously. He's a really, really good player. He scores a lot of tries. Kanan Moody's very good. He's one of my favourite players, but I just think in Arendse, South Africa have a really, really special player there, and I think he'll be missed from the team tomorrow. Okay, there we go, my key players for the game tomorrow. Don't forget to drop your comments with the ones that you think are going to be key tomorrow. Thank you very much for participating in the community poll that's up at the moment on the 2 games that are taking place tomorrow. And also thank you very much for hitting the subscribe button and finding those other ways that you can support me on the channel. I appreciate it very much. I'll be back again really soon with some more content. Until then, you stay safe, stay well, keep enjoying your rugby from across the world, and it's time to say adios from beautiful Cancun in Mexico. Bye for now, everyone.